Little. Hey folks, I'm just trying to figure this out. Right, if I do this, security, Hey folks, how's it going?
Yeah, good, cheers.
It's Chris. Hey, this is going to be, this is going to be really weird. I'll explain in a minute. For those on YouTube, hey, we'll be cracking on in 2 minutes. I can't find a quiet place around here. Right. Okay. Right. Okay, 1 minute to go. Oh, I'm gonna have to go somewhere quieter. Damn it. Sorry. Is there like a spare office somewhere a bit quiet so I could do a quick work meeting in? No. Okay, no worries. Thank you. It's worth asking. Hey folks, so let's just double check that this is all running. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yep, sweet. So I'm hoping this works. Basically, I've had to take Ellie's Tesla to get fixed. So there's some little things that was wrong with it. Like one of the buttons on the steering wheel didn't work and some other thing, which is weird. Like my other Tesla didn't have a single problem in the 4 years that I had it, but there's just a few little niggles with Ellie. So I had to drive all the way to Chelmsford. I live in Norwich, so Chelmsford is like a 2-hour drive, and it's like a waiting thingy. So yeah, and the timings were unfortunate. So I've literally had to just drop off the car, and so I'm still at the Tesla service station, but I'm around the back trying to find somewhere quiet, and I can't do this inside. So I'm just wandering around like a weirdo. As always, this is, please ask any questions in the chat box. I'm gonna have to mute everyone for the moment. You can unmute yourself. Just hear a lot of background noise. Yeah, just so put it in the chat box. Unfortunately, for those on YouTube, I won't be able to see what questions you have because I'm doing this on my phone and I have no idea how to see the YouTube stuff. I'm just happy that this is working on Zoom on my mobile. Oh, check that out. There's like a completely totaled Tesla over there. Probably not allowed back here. Anyway, so what questions do you have? So far in the chat, I can see Aaron, to 𝗵𝗃𝗀 or to not 𝗵𝗃𝗀. So this is actually a really cool, interesting topic. I will make a video on 𝗵𝗃𝗀 later or at another time, or I'll hold a live session on 𝗵𝗃𝗀. And the reason being is I still fully haven't got my head around it. Now, let's back up a bit. What is 𝗵𝗃𝗀? Now, years and years ago, I had an idea. So when this was probably about 6, maybe 7 years ago, when I was thinking about setting up my school, I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if there was a human stock market? And I was toying along with this thought, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a human stock market and every kid in the school had their own share price? So, you know, Joe had Joe coin and had, you know, Joe's share price would go up if he got good grades, and it went down if he got bad grades, or blah, blah, blah. Then I thought, there's probably going to be too much undue pressure for the kids, and probably not a good idea. However, I thought having a human stock market would be pretty cool. And I obviously didn't do anything with it. But guess what? Now that we're in crypto world, there's a platform that's popped up called 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃. And 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 is an interesting thing. It's exactly what I thought about years and years ago, except they've managed to do this. One sec. It's a bit cold. They've managed to pull this off. Well, when I say pull it off, I'm still dubious whether it's going to take off. So what happens on 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 is they have basically copied Twitter. So if you if you go and open up a profile on 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃, the UI looks pretty damn similar to Twitter, and everyone that has a profile has their own coin. So I've got my own profile on 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 called 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃. No shit. I think you can find me on bit.clout.com/u/𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 or whatever. And they're what they call creator coins. And if you like someone, you can buy their coin and their share price will go up if that person gets more famous or does good stuff. And yeah. And so, for example, you could you could short Kanye West coin if you think he's going to be a douchebag, or you can buy Elon Musk coin or whatever. Now, I find it quite hilarious that I've only set up the coin, my profile, and I've had, a couple $100 worth of coins being bought, as in there's like probably 8 or 9 people that own a bunch of 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 coins, which is weird. So I've read the white paper, which isn't really a white paper. It's like a 4-page PDF. And it doesn't really show too much details, but I will talk about it another time. But whether it gets any traction, I don't know. It's a tricky one. Is anyone here on 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃? And whilst waiting for an answer for that, let's have a look at the chat box. Okay, so yeah, anyway, in fact, let's leave the 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃 chat for another time. Yeah, Adam Stevens has his own coin as well. It's quite funny. His market cap went down the other day. I found that funny. And yes, I did buy 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 coin. I bought $20 of my own coin just to see. I just wanted to go through the user experience. What happens when you buy it, what happens when you sell it. And I found it quite interesting that when I went to sell my coin, it said everyone that holds 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 coin will be announced or will be alerted to this. I was like, okay, maybe not sell. So, but yeah, once I really get my head around that, I'll make a more informed video. Okay, so Anita has asked the gas news discussed on Facebook. So this is interesting. Now, obviously, I'm out and about, and I don't have all of my notes with me. But Neo 3.0, in fact, I'll face this way so you can see me. I look an absolute mess today, by the way. I'm unshaven, I'm uncut, my hair. Yeah, probably I should say in the shadows. Yeah, anyway, I'm a big fan of Neo, always have been, ever since it was Ant shares. And I originally got into Ant shares at probably $2. Ant shares then rebranded into Neo, otherwise known as the Chinese Ethereum killer or whatever, although Neo hate it when people use that. And so I've been riding Neo all the way up, into the hundreds of dollars up and obviously all the way down as well. And gas, so Neo was pretty much the original crypto out there that had a dual token economy. So it had Neo, which was the actual token, and then you had gas behind it. And Neo gas was the fuel that basically lubricated the whole system. Very similar to Ethereum and 𝗁𝗶𝗀𝗁. So one of the cool things I found with NEO and gas is that there was a relationship between the two, and that on average, gas was roughly 25 to 30% of the price of NEO. But every now and then, like clockwork, it would spike up to 50%. So throughout 2017, I did a whole bunch of NEO gas plays where I bought gas when it was low, around 25 to 30% of the price of NEO. And when it spiked up to 50%, I then sold all my gas into NEO. Easy swap. So what that basically meant is that for the same amount of money, I got way more NEO for my money, if that made sense. And so it's been on my radar. Now, ever since 2018, 𝗷𝘂𝘀𝗵𝗃 and the whole NEO network have been rebuilding stuff behind the scenes. And they're releasing NEO 3.0 later this year. And part of that comes with a whole bunch of upgrades. And the other day, I think it was literally yesterday, they released a whole document about what's happening with gas. And there are lots of pros and cons. So this was someone posted some tweets in the RT community Facebook group, and people are asking questions, because when reading through that article, there's lots of pros and lots of cons regarding gas. Basically, at the moment, what they call NEO legacy, how it is right now, there is a finite supply of gas. But with NEO 3.0, they're getting rid of that max supply. And so if you look at it on face value, it's like, holy shit, they're getting, it's an infinite supply of gas. I'm going to sell all my gas because it's technically now an inflationary currency. And therefore the price should go down. However, you must not. And I see a lot of people sort of missing a step with this. You can't just stop with your thinking there. You have to look into it a bit differently. So technically, if you look at Ethereum, that is an infinite currency supply, yet it's hovering around $2,500. So it doesn't necessarily matter if there's an infinite currency supply or a token supply on a token. It's all about the distribution. How is the coin distributed? How is it inflated? People are waiting to get in. Okay, you're in. And so I think off the top of my head, it's a 5% inflation rate. So they will basically mint gas at I don't have I wrote some notes as I was reading it, but yeah, I think it's 5% a year, which isn't that bad, combined with the fact that they will be burning unused gas. So at the moment in NEO Legacy, there is no unused gas. Sorry, unused gas is just put aside, whereas with NEO 3.0, they will be burning unused gas, which therefore has somewhat of a disinflationary effect. But it remains to be seen how much burning will happen. And the reason we don't know is because we don't know how active the whole network will be. But the massive thing, I think the really bullish thing for me that I read was that at the moment in NEO Legacy, it's actually quite expensive to set up a project on NEO. So if you're looking to set up your own crypto, and you're looking, you're probably looking between Zilliqa, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Komodo maybe, and Tron or NEO, you're looking at the fees to set up on NEO, and it's quite expensive. I think off the top of my head, it's like 2,000 gas just to set up something. And so they're dramatically reducing it. I think they're dropping it down to like barely anything. And therefore, it's going to attract way more developers and more people onto the NEO network. And so that's actually a bullish thing, because if it's really cheap to set up basically they've just got rid of the barrier to entry to set up a project on NEO, which means it should attract more projects. And if there are more projects getting onto the NEO network, guess what? More gas will be used, and therefore it's bullish. It adds bullish pressure. So yeah, the more projects that set up on NEO, the more gas is then going to be needed. And therefore, I personally think at the moment, it will negate all of the other somewhat negative parts of it all. So they're the two main things that I thought I share. Now, in terms of what I'm doing nothing. I'm still really bullish. And to put for context, I've got like $40,000 worth of gas. So if anyone's going to be a bit nervous about this, it should be me. But I'm not. I'm sitting tight. And the reason being is that there are a few variables. So one, we don't know where the new ratio will sit in 3.0. So once everything's, 3.0 is out there and people are developing on it, we don't know, no one knows what the ratios will be. Will gas hover around at 25, 30%, or will it drop to 5% or 10%? We don't know. But the reason I don't really care is because my gas trade really is now morphed into a gas to Bitcoin trade. And so let's say worst case scenario, this new ratio drops, okay? And let's say gas to NEO drops down to about 10% and stays there for a long time. Well, it means when you look at it on that side, it means that you can't get as much NEO if you're to sell all your gas, if that makes sense. And at the moment, it's operating at like 20 or 18, 20%. It's pretty low. So historically speaking, gas is freaking cheap compared to NEO. However, the reason I don't care is because when you look at the chart of gas to Bitcoin, it's like woefully underappreciated. And so NEO is a big player. It's a blue chip crypto. And so it's highly likely that NEO is going to do well. It's highly likely that lots of projects are going to launch on the platform, which means if that happens, gas will be used and NEO's price is highly likely to continue rising up. If NEO's price continues going up, gas price is also going to go up. And because we're now in alt season, it's highly likely that when all these things happen, gas is going to outpace Bitcoin's growth. As we get near, and so this is what happens in alt season. Bitcoin slows down massively. We can already see that with the market share coming back down, and alts start rallying, and therefore gas is going to appreciate, is highly likely going to appreciate against Bitcoin. Therefore, I'm staying in my gas. Now, I have to take a reality check. It's probably not going to that 0.007 level or even the 0.004 level, but it doesn't matter. Even if it gets to 0.002, that's a huge, huge uplift. So I'm staying put. So that's my thoughts on gas. I'll talk about it more once I'm in front of my computer. Chris, how do you know when an idea for... Oh, cool. I like business questions. Chris has asked, how do you know when an idea for biz just isn't working and you need to cut your losses? Great question. For example, MFP didn't gain much traction straight away. When would you have called it a day and went on to another project if MFP didn't take off like it has? That is a great question. And the answer is you just don't know. It's so hard. There's no cookie cutter thing saying, right, if this happens and this happens, then you need to quit. Or if this doesn't happen, etc. Ultimately, I think most business models or businesses will work if you're just dogged and persistent enough. And the reason why a lot of businesses don't work is that the business owner behind it has no gumption, has no persistence, no commitment to actually making it work. So, for example, the most formidable woman I've ever met, and I'm in awe of her, and I massively respect her, is a lovely lady called Lara Morgan. Now, I would highly recommend going to my YouTube channel. Just type Siam kid Lara Morgan. She's the only woman I'm actually scared of. And I used to have dinner with her once a month in this group, and she's lovely, but she is formidable. I can't share why she's formidable. It's just having endless amounts of business dinners with her and stuff. It's like you don't want to mess with her. She knows her shit. She walks the talk. She's recently sold her business for £20 million cash. She's formidable. Now, when you listen to her interview, I mean, I interviewed her years ago, but I think from memory, like she basically started off selling soap. Okay, she was like, right, I'm gonna sell soap to hotels, and I think she got something like, I'm probably going to get it wrong. Please watch the interview. It'll be in there. It was either like 20 no's in a row or 200 no's in a row. I can't remember, or maybe 50. I don't know. But the takeaway from this is that she basically went door to door to every hotel she could find and said, hey, I've got loads of these little soaps. And this was back in, like, way back in the day where hotels didn't used to give out soap to, in the rooms for its customers. And so she was like, hey, how about you put all these little soap kits and stuff in the rooms for your hotel stayers? And yeah, door to door, and she kept getting no. And then eventually she got a yes. And then what I found interesting is that one of her first yeses, one of her first contracts, she had to order something like thousands, tens of thousands of mini shampoo bottles. So obviously she placed the order in China for tens of thousands of these tiny shampoo bottles, like you get in any hotel. The order got delivered to the hotel, and then the hotel manager rang her up and was screaming down the phone, "Are you trying to shortchange me? Blah blah blah." And what happened is that the people in China thought, when you're having a shower, you don't need to use the whole bottle, you only need half. And so China sent tens of thousands of half-filled shampoo bottles. I mean, it's just a culture difference, isn't it? And so there was, bright and early in her business, she had this massive hiccup. Anyway, going back to Chris's question, when do you give up? Well, if you do anything for long enough, it will do okay. But then it comes to the point of your own circumstances. How much money have you got to spend on this project? And how much time do you have to spend on this project? Now, most people, I'm just going to broad brush here, most people don't have a spare 5 or 10 grand to blow on a project. Luckily for me, when Ellie and I did our side hustle, as in 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶, I think we injected like £4,000 in ad spend. Something like that, maybe £5,000 ad spend. And that got it started. But even then, the first, I think, 1,500 quid of ad spend didn't work, which is annoying because I thought it would work. I kept doing lots of mini tests, like quick 500 quid ad spend. No, nothing. I'd end up spending 500 quid to get one customer. You're like, oh, shit. And yeah, so the first 1,500 quid of ad spend didn't work. And the reason it didn't work was the offer was bad. And I say this a lot, and it's so true. You can have the best offer on the planet and the worst marketing on the planet, and you'll do fabulously well. If you have the worst product on the planet, so long story short, if you have a great offer, you can have shit marketing and you'll do well. If you have a shit offer, but really good marketing, you're not going to do well. It's all about the offer, as in what you're offering. What trial you're offering, what is the product. It's all about how good your offer is. And the thing that swapped it for me is that we originally did like £45 for 3 months or something like that. We were trying to sell a 3-month package for £45, and no one was taking it. We then thought, okay, let's screw this. Let's make it more valuable. Let's do £30 for 3 months. So £10 a month, basically. No, still no takers. Another probably 500-700 quid ad spend wasted. And then I was like, screw this. Let's do £15 for 2 months. So I changed the months and I changed the money. And then all of a sudden they flew like hotcakes. And then the first ad campaign, we got like 1,000 signups in the space of a month or two, which was just ridiculous. And then we're like, okay, that offer works. Let's run with it. So you just got to tweak and tweak and tweak. Do, fail, learn, pivot. Do, fail, learn, pivot until you find something that works. Now, if you're doing failing, learning, and pivoting, and it's like 3 years down the line, it's still not working. Maybe do something else. It's hard. There's too many variables at the end of the day. I can't give you a straight answer. Like, one of the variables is this business scalable? Like, will this business ever be a scalable thing where you can, retire from? Like, I always use cupcakes. I see a lot of people go, oh, I'm going to sell cupcakes. or, you know, whatever. And when you really map out a cupcake business, it's never going to work. If you're like, you're never going to retire on a cupcake business. How most cupcake businesses are formed, because they're like, all right, I'm going to make some cupcakes in my spare time, and then I'm going to sell them at car boot sales and local shops, etc. You'd be surprised how many times I hear this. And the first thing I always go to is the capacity thing. Okay, well, how much spare time do you have to put into your cupcake business? X amount. Okay, how big is your oven? How many cupcakes can you make per session? Cool. And so all going well, and you're spending every spare second that you can on this business, you can make X amount of cupcakes. Right. How much is that going to cost? Okay, in ingredients and time, blah, blah, blah. And then how much are you going to sell it for? And a lot of the time, they're like, oh, wow, just to break even, you need to sell your cupcakes for a lot of money. And then I go, right, magic wand. Okay, ignore the cost of money. You've got a whole bunch of cupcakes. How are you going to sell them? Well, car boot sales. Okay, well, how often are your car boot sales? And where are they? So how much time are you driving to all these car boot sales? And how many hours are you going to sit there selling your cupcakes? And at a car boot sale, what are you going to sell a cupcake for? £1 max. And then before you know it, you know, you go to this car boot sale with 100 cupcakes. Let's say you sell them all. You got 100 cupcakes. Well, what does that cost you? Well, it's cost you the half an hour's driving, the 5 hours of sitting out in the cold, getting haggled to death. It's not a nice business. Now, if you were going to run a cupcake business, you'd have to think bigger and go, right, I'm going to sell 10,000 cupcakes a week, okay? Something silly like that. So some business models are just doomed to fail unless you have the capital behind it. So yeah, you can make a cupcake business work, but do you have a spare couple £100,000? Then yeah, you probably will. You know, you can brute force a business into success sometimes if you have enough money, but most people don't. So I think the metric that a lot of people should maybe use is the business organically taking off? Like, is it really taking a lot of effort to get it running? And if it is, then maybe it's something that you park. Like, I've got all sorts of business ideas that I really want to do, but I'm just not in the right time. I'm not in the right time for the market. I'm not in the right time for myself. Some I don't have enough money for. And you've got to be realistic with yourself. In fact, I've got like 5 different businesses that I will launch in the future when I have enough money, but I don't. I simply don't have enough money. And there's one business I need at least £2 million to get it running. But here's the difference. I'm aware that this business idea needs £2 million for an MVP, minimum viable product, just to get it, just to give myself a little slight chance that it'll work. But what most people do is they'll try and run with a business idea like that as their first freaking business. So you have people that have never been in business ever, and they're like, right, I'm gonna have this game-changing, world-changing idea of a business, and they try and make it work, and it's not going to happen. And a lot of the time, it's like invention businesses, which are just like, if you're barking up the invention business route, you are opening up your frock to a lot of pain. Frock pain sounds bad. That sounds wrong. You're just opening yourself up to a lot of pain. Just don't do any invention businesses. I cannot stress enough how much pain you're going to end up in, and how much money and time you're going to lose. So, Chris, that's my long, convoluted answer. I don't have a straight answer, mate. Normally, what I do whenever I test out a new business idea is I just run Facebook ads. I run a whole, like when I run a Facebook ad for a brand new business, I will literally create about 50 different adverts. And each of those adverts will all have different offers, different headlines, different pictures and videos, different whatever. And I'll split test like 50 adverts at once. And then very quickly, you'll see which offer is being clicked. And then when you're like, oh shit, everyone's clicking on this advert. Okay, what does this advert say? Oh, it's offering this. Okay, sweet. I'm just going to base my whole business around this offer then. Simple as that. Yeah. So that's that. Any other questions? Any other questions? That's so. pretty much there half an hour. So far we've talked about Neo, BitClout, and when is a good time to quit your side hustle. In fact, is there anyone even here, or have I literally just been talking to myself? Oh no, there's 22 of you here, and I don't know how many on YouTube, but yeah. So any last questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace. No? Okay. You sure? I've got time. I've literally got to wait in this bloody service center for ages. What else is there? Did I have anything else? Nah, I think that is it for now. Cool. Let's call it. Let's make it a short one today. Thanks for everyone being here. Hopefully this has helped today. And I will see you. Oh, one second. Alexander said, when is the next Bitcoin fork? I don't think there is one. Well, it's always forking. There's hundreds of variants of Bitcoin out there. Hundreds. It always forks. But yeah, I just wouldn't worry about it. Right. Toodaloo. See you, everyone. Bye.